Saturday, February 10th, 5 p.m. Mountain Time, 2018. Guys, I'm going to take you up here to Northwest Washington, state of Washington. A mysterious event occurred actually a couple of weeks ago. Stories are starting to circulate now. This one here is from theweatherchannel.com. There's a meteorologist from Seattle that's covering the story, and he's trying to put a weather spin on this story. Maybe weather created this event, but not having much luck. It's being followed by coast to coast because of its mysterious nature, and it is indeed mysterious and quite unprecedented. In the articles that I've read so far, they mention the word tree. They use it kind of vaguely, but these weren't your ordinary tree, and I'm going to explain a little bit about these trees here in just a minute. But here's what happened. The night of January 27th, overnight, over 100 trees mysteriously fell to the ground, and from what it looks like, they all fell at the same time in Olympic Park in the state of Washington. To put things in perspective, the location is right here. It's about 70 miles due west of Seattle. It's an Olympic Park. Happened on the north side of Lake Quinault. The exact location is right here in this area only. When this event occurred, nothing else was disturbed or damaged. Only a little over 100 trees in this area right here. Now back to the story. Right now, they're looking at the possible culprit as being wind. But let's talk about what type of trees that we're dealing with. The tree that you're looking at, in fact, in this photograph, is a Douglas fir. Douglas firs thrive in that part of the United States. This is just their home right here. Western Washington, Western Oregon, Northwestern California. The light green, those are Douglas firs. Douglas firs aren't your ordinary tree. They're extremely large evergreen trees that reach heights of up to 330 feet tall. They're absolutely massive trees. Here is an example of just how big these trees can get. Here's a human here looking at a Douglas fir. There's also a picture of an actual tree from the location, and there's a human standing next to a downed Douglas fir. Whatever did that was incredibly strong. So right now it is a mystery. They really don't know what happened. They're assuming that maybe some sort of a microburst came in here and took out these trees, but they really don't know. And in fact, this guy here is doing an incredible job. He's looked at all of the weather data from that night. He even looked at the seismograph. I'll take you to that location here in just a second and show you. There is a seismograph that sits right here. The event occurred right here, so possibly the seismograph may have picked up some energy. Or was there an earthquake? We'll go look and see. But as far as any weather anomalies, there were none. Or at least none known. There were no severe weather conditions. There were no high winds, just moderate winds, nothing out of the norm. No earthquakes. And in fact, let's go to the seismograph. Here's the area. There's Lake Quinault. This is the area of this mysterious event. This black thing you see here is the seismograph. Let's go check it out. And we'll go back in time to January 27th. Let's see what it says. It shows an earthquake at 5:20-ish. Here we go. That was the day before. There's the energy from the tree fault incident. It's not labeled because it was not an earthquake. This is labeled, that's labeled, those were small earthquakes, and they are not uncommon up there. They happen all the time, in fact, real small quakes. This here is not an earthquake. What we can learn from looking at this, and I've looked at these for many, many years. I'm not an expert. I just have a lot of experience. The energy, it doesn't linger on for an extended period of time. Due to the location of this seismograph and its close proximity to the mysterious event, it did pick up the energy, and it picked it up very abruptly. So that tells us that it all happened at once. It didn't linger on like one tree fell and another tree fell. It looks like they all came down at pretty much the same exact time. And once again, we're talking about mighty Douglas firs. These are incredibly large trees. Look at the size of these things. They all were not Douglas firs. I got pictures here that show some of these trees were probably, I researched what other kind of trees could have been in this area, and it looks like lodgepole pine, western white pine, possibly white bark pine, or even ponderosas. But the big one you're looking at in that picture, it's definitely a Douglas fir. Some of these other ones, that's a Douglas fir right there. So it's just kind of hard to fathom that wind would have came in, taken out a huge tree like that without taking out the entire section of the forest. But these other trees, they came down as well, and like the big Douglas fir, they were broken off at the ground. How did that happen? It almost seems impossible that wind could do something like that without disturbing the entire area. Here at this gentleman's blog, he's got the map showing exactly where the trees fell and which direction they fell. And they were moving in a southeasterly direction. And there's homes right here that were unaffected by anything that night. So it looks like to me there might have been a unusual geological event maybe. And maybe that's what the seismograph picked up, and it didn't necessarily pick up the trees. It picked up an unusual geological event. Maybe there was a abrupt landslide, and the land moving real quickly snapped the trees off. I just can't see wind coming in here because it's so isolated, and just picking out a few hundred trees in here and breaking them down without taking out the entire, 3 or 4 acres. It just seems so odd, and that's why it's such a mystery right now, and it's still a mystery. They really don't know what happened. I think if it were a geological event, these people probably would have felt what they thought was an earthquake, but nobody felt anything. It's just really, really super odd. So anyway, over 100 trees were found laying on the ground, and in some cases snapped off right before they were uprooted. Very large trees at that, Douglas firs, and these trees can reach up to 330 feet in height, were found laying on the ground. And this was in northwest Washington, and this happened on January 27th of 2018, 4 days prior to the full moon, supermoon eclipse of January 31st. I'm not saying that that had anything to do with it. I'm just saying that it was 4 days before the event. Things happen, and this is a mystery. Nobody knows why or how this happened. But to me, to try to just mathematically associate wind with this, it's difficult to do because it's so isolated. If it was a wind event, I would have thought that all of these other trees in the area, if it had the strength to take out this great big tree and leave this one completely unaffected, it doesn't make sense. So anyway, still a mystery. I'll update you if any new information comes forward, but right now they're calling it a mystery wind, and it is certainly a mystery wind indeed. I want to thank you guys for sharing your incredible sky phenomenon photos here at the website. If you have photos to share of incredible sky phenomenon, we will post it here at the photo gallery. Email your pictures to reports@mrmbb333.com. I'll take you to the photo gallery real quick. We update the gallery daily as the photos come in. In fact, I've got some new ones to upload now that have came in within the last 30 minutes. The gallery is growing, and it is spectacular. You will find all kinds of incredible photos from incredible people all around the world. Also, I'd like to point out, don't forget to check out the daily report. There's some very fascinating news stories that come through here from time to time. It updates every day, sometimes multiple times a day. There's also some stories in there for the lighter side, but it's just kind of a nice mix, nice friendly mix, and I think you'll find it informative. There's also space weather here at these tabs, real-time space weather. You got your solar wind speeds, what's going on in your ionosphere. In fact, we'll click on it real quick and just see. This is real-time up to the hour, and there you go. You can see just a little brush right there on the ionosphere. That was an intense brush. solar wind hit the shields today. We'll watch it again. And this is always updated. When you click on it, you're going to get the most up-to-date data. And you can see right there, some solar wind did brush against the ionosphere, probably sparked some small auroras in the Arctic Circle, but all of this is real time. You can check it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Solar flux units here on the left. Number is 77. You can go to the SDO and look around at the solar instruments if you like, but bookmark the site. It's a good little hub for information. I think you guys will like it. And I want to thank you again for sending in your incredible photos. Keep them coming. I appreciate it. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a super day and be safe out there.